Alright, so we're about to move on to episode 6 of Girls Planet 999. Now, last week was the elimination episode where we lost too many, more than half of the contestants. Some people that I wish were still on the show, but unfortunately are no longer on the show. Obviously, y'all know my top 2 in Bora and Yurina now after updating my list, because the list I had of my top 9 was as of at the end of episode 2, before starting episode 3, before y'all saw me reacting. That was when I made my list. And now is my list updated as of episode 5. Nothing really happened in episode 5 to switch up my vote, but I hadn't updated since episode 2, so coincidentally my updated list came out as of eliminations. Wasn't influenced by eliminations, but I did have to replace 2 people who unfortunately got eliminated, in Diane and Sane. So I unfortunately had to replace them, but I'm glad to put in the people I put in, which were Gia and Shana, who are really good. Now we are moving on to episode, like I said, 6, and I actually don't know what's about to happen in the episode. I just know the episode has aired. I saw Girls Planet trending. I didn't see anyone. Did I see anyone trending? I'm gonna just move this over. Someone's probably trending right now as I say that. Hold on. Anyone trending? No, no one's trending right now. I swear I saw someone trending, but I can't remember who it was. Can't wait to check out this episode. I'm not gonna promise to finish it all right now. I may have to continue a little later today or maybe tomorrow, depending on how things shake up in about an hour. Just as well as I could be sitting here because I've said that before and I sat here for the whole video. But regardless, y'all know the deal. Y'all about to go watch the video, enjoy it along with me, and see you afterwards if I decide to have some post-episode thoughts. Oh, before I go, apologies for last episode. I used a different streaming thing, like a different thing for the episode. And in doing so, I did not realize that if I got there that early, as I am right now, the captions are, instead of being hard subbed in the center of the screen, like they usually are, rewind, we're not done. Instead of being like hard subbed in the middle, they roll out in the bottom left corner, which is where my face cam was, so it was covering the subs. My bad. I already moved my camera to the top left, because I am also here early. Spoiler alert, I think I'm here 22 minutes after the episode finished to start reacting to this. Because I think it starts airing at 8 for me. So it finishes by 10 because I see the episode's an hour 56 minutes. Or it starts airing at 7, there's a lot of commercials and it ends up around 9 or 10, I don't know. Regardless, I'm here right after the show finishes and I've already seen that the captions are at the bottom left. So I did make the change, so I'm not covering the captions this time. My bad. Wow, this episode put me through it. Couple interruptions in the middle, but all those aside, I started the first 10-20 seconds of the episode in full anxiety over teasing of Yurina not doing well. Obviously, y'all already know me. Y'all already know who my top 2 in my heart and my soul are Bora and Yurina. Anxiety after finding out how shit was gonna work for Bora, and anxiety in the first 10 seconds, and then what happened to practice with Yurina. So obviously, if you watch the episode now, spoiler alert. Well, listen now, you're here. You better have watched the reaction or watched the episode already. Bora was obviously on the low end of the performances, or the cells, right? The cells that got saved. Also, this week, from now on, they decided to ditch cells. So, I personally believe that cells should have been ditched from the get-go. And the cells are only a part of the show to differentiate it from produce. Because produce has a bad name. Not the groups, like the groups are cool and everything, but of course, produce and everything that happened. As a show, putting out another produce show, not a good look. Name it Girls Planet, still has a produce feel. You put the cell thing differentiated from produce. But the cell thing sucks. Sucked, whatever you want to say. It was ass and should never existed. So now we're moving on to individual voting. But because she was low, she got lower on the opportunity to pick what she wanted. And already that creates anxiety for me because she was already low and now she's gonna be low again. Picking something that maybe doesn't fully suit her. She ended up with a rap thing, which I was like, yo, I have faith in Bora. All of them weren't too confident in that group with the rapping. And it turned out that they absolutely killed it. Honestly, one of my favorites of the night. They did really well. And that's not biased. Of course, it also is. I really think they did well. And I'm sure a lot of people who watched that think they really did well out of all of them. There, a bit of anxiety from that, like, east, right? And then came Yurina, who she picked B2B's Missing You. And for a long time, no one else picked it. Come towards the end of picking stages, at least how they made it seem with the editing. I don't know if it's actually how it happened. They kind of made it seem like no one wanted to join in with Yurina on that song. And then there was actually some pretty strong vocalists on there and some people who did well, who didn't do too hot in the practices. But one of the people that didn't do too hot in the practices was Yurina. Yurina struggled, and it was pretty serious struggle. Like she seemed unconfident. She wanted to prove that she belonged in the number one because she was there, you know. The song got put up an extra key as well. I think it was like it was like in B major as opposed to what it was before. And she did well when it was original. Then they bumped up the key and she struggled. I'm obviously on edge because I have faith in her so much. And I want her to do well. I want her to debut. But she didn't do too hot in the practice. So I'm just sitting here focusing. I haven't whipped out my mellow bomb for her, bro. I was like, no, she get it all. They're getting all my energy because I want them all to do well. Like they struggled, like multiple of them struggled in the practice. I want them all to do well. And they all did really well as well. Like no bullshit. Like no bullshit. Like this is not just me kissing ass because she's like one of my favorites on the show. Like they all did really well. That was a really good performance. And as a melody, I am so happy to have seen that, and I really enjoyed the performance. So all the other performances that happened as well were really good. There's been no, like, apart from like the hiccups in practices, none of the main stage performances have really been bad. So who knows if they saved that for the second half for the people who like had like actual like blunders on stage, you know. Very Mnet to do that. I'm sure they would have probably thrown some that didn't do too hot here as well, but for the most part it was just the people that practiced. So or just the people during practices that didn't do too well. So hopefully it continues that they all do well, but the worst part about them all doing well is that some good people that did good shit are getting eliminated, and they're eliminating 30 people, 30 contestants for the next one. And I don't know why it feels like this show is going so fast with eliminations. Then again, I don't remember the frequency of eliminations in Produce 101 Season 1 for IY because I watched it in early 2018 when I was first getting into K-pop, and I didn't watch the others. So for these big quantity of contestants shows, I've only seen one, and I don't remember how frequently the eliminations were. So this seems like a lot for me. But if you've watched Produce or The Unit or things like that, you might be used to these huge eliminations. For me, it just seems like so many. You know, like it's 40 plus first time around, and now 30. That's insane. That's insane. So listen, I'm gonna get to voting because there's one thing you get to vote people into songs now, which y'all watched this already. Yeah, you're watching this after. If you're watching this early, hopefully I can get it up today. You have a few hours left, I believe, to vote for who fits the songs best. But I feel like if you're watching my reaction, you probably watch the show, and you already did your voting. But they're doing that, which I guess is cool. I already heard one where I think it was the second one where I heard that it would fit like Yurina, so I think I'm putting her in that one. Forgot the title of it though, because they're all new songs. But I'm gonna see. It's hard to properly fit everyone, but some people literally shout out to me with some of the songs. So okay, that's enough blabbering, y'all. Like, talk your ear off. I don't know. Like, I'm so invested in this show after saying that I wanted nothing to do with another survival show. So, hopefully the show limits its bullshit, which I have no faith in. By the way, I have no faith in the show limiting its bullshit. But hoping that those that I want to keep going forward end up getting debuted. I'm wishing the best for everyone. I want everyone to do well on stage. This thing, like, I don't want anyone to do poorly. Like, just for the benefit of someone I like, I want to see everyone do well. Which is that obviously I have my favorites and I want to see my favorites debut, and that would, by default, mean other people don't. So hopefully everybody does well. And next week is the other half of the performances. And they already teased one, the one with like Yeso, the one for the song Fate. It looks interesting because they teased that Yeso was crying on stage leading into the performance right as the lights dimmed about to start. And I came to the conclusion that she did that to get in character and the emotion for the performance. They made it seem like some of the contestants thought that she was actually crying. So I think it's just to get into the mood of the performance because that was one of her criticisms in the practice because they did show the practice. So I think I'm right. Because then they also showed like the first 5 to 10 seconds of the performance and she went right into it and she's not crying. So I feel like it's for the emotion because that was her criticism. Anyways, yeah, these episodes are early for Patreon. 4 days, 3 to 4 days in between there. Early for Patreon, and then everybody gets to see them as soon as those days are over. I don't know how to end videos like this. You're new here. I've been doing this for almost 4 years and I still don't know how to end videos, so. If you want to let me know your top 9, let me know your top 9. That's a good way to end a video, right? It's like the whole asking what your favorite song of the album is. Let me know your top 9 if you have a top 9.